Yes, David.
Well, it was so because this
And he fell in love with me.
No, shut the fuck up! No. I did not fall in love with you.
Yeah, you did.
Relax.
What was that post?
First of all, fall in love is a very extreme term that you're using right now.
He went, his eyes sparked.
No,
and he's like, I gotta take a photo of this strange lady.
Let me tell you how it really happened, right? So I came in smooth as fuck, right, with this coat on, and right when I walked.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Genius Brain. I'm your host, Mariels Song. And we have a special guest here.
Oh.
Chef's son. His name is DavidSo. Hello, Chef DavidSo. Wow.
Hello. My name is Chef DavidSo. I'm from the furthest part of Britain. Every day I wake up and I drink tea. And then I have some more tea. And then after I have more tea, I have tea again.
Do you know what mac and cheese is?
So, if you guys don't know, or you haven't been following me on Instagram, fuck you. Just kidding. We have my Netflix show just dropped.
Finally.
If you guys go on Netflix now, you'll see it. It dropped on December 30th. It's called Best Leftovers Ever. It features me as a judge, Jackie Tone, and also Rosemary Schrager. So basically the concept of this show that I'm on is we're basically taking leftovers and we're turning it into something amazing. And so thematically in every episode, they have to do something with it. So for example, there's an episode where in the first round, you have to do breakfast with it. Mm-hmm. And in the second round, they'll have to fancify, do a really fancy dish with whatever leftovers that they have.
It's so fun. I mean, it's very family friendly, so that's a good thing. Any kids can watch it.
It is the only thing that I've done that is family friendly.
I find it quite amazing that you found something that's family friendly to work on.
Hey, DavidSo's for the kids.
Thank God. Keep it that way. Let's keep it that way.
No, we're not doing that. But it's so funny because I got a bunch of messages from my friends, and every time I post something, they never repost my shit, right? This is like hometown friends that I grew up with. And then I see the message, like, you finally did something that I could show my family.
I know. I could tell my Taiwanese host family too.
It's like, watch it. This is my fiance.
Yeah.
He's on the TV.
And it's actually really fun. I enjoyed it. There were a lot of things I didn't understand.
Like what?
Certain things that we're making. They're like, I'm going to make bloop, 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 bloop. And I'm like, David, what is bloop, bloop, bloop? And you'll be like, oh, that's blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
That is literally the worst description of the show I've ever heard in my life. Hello, everybody. It's a bloop, bloop, bloop. I know you come here and a little bloop, bloop, bloop.
The British chef said, beep, bop, bop. For bibimbap, okay?
Dude, if you guys watch this one episode, there's this part where I fucking died laughing. So Rosemary Schrager is a very well-renowned chef out in the UK, right? She owns her own culinary school. I think restaurants too. Everything else, her own cookbooks. She is the queen of food out there. I call her like female Gordon Ramsay. And the funniest thing is that, I obviously don't own like any fine dining restaurants. I don't own a culinary school, but I do own multiple food concepts. I've been involved in food for a very long time. So when it comes to like knowledge of food, I know a lot. I was also 300 pounds, so I ate a lot of fucking food. And I'm also a very inquisitive eater too. Like when I eat something, I want to know where it's from, how they made it.
Yeah, you guys were just like throwing each other back and forth, all these cuisine feedback as it's... Do we consider you as a chef then?
Well, they were calling me chef and cook, which I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I develop food, so I don't really know if chef is the term for me. But I'm a restaurateur, So we do food development, right? Yeah. So with Wing Chicks, I did food development for that, and but yeah, I guess that kind of works. I don't really consider myself a cook or a chef.
Do you need some kind of certificate to be considered as chef?
I don't think so. See, here's the thing about cooking with people that a lot of people don't understand, and I'll put it to you in perspective like this: if you're a home cook out there, right, and let's say you open up a restaurant, you never went to culinary school. Does that mean that you're not a chef and a cook? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean shit. It's like when somebody says like, I'm a smart person because I went to college. That doesn't mean shit. They're some of the dumbest people I know have a college degree. It's like assuming that somebody's going to be successful or they're good at what they do because they went into an educational institution doesn't make sense to me. I know a lot of people who went to culinary school and their food is dick, right? They just went to school. They thought that they had a talent. They thought they had a gift in it, and they didn't. Some of our favorite foods in K-Town, those ajumas and those harmonies that made those recipes did not go to culinary school.
Are they considered chefs?
Yeah, hell yeah, they are. They're chefs and they're cooks. Hell yeah, they're chefs.
Is chef and cooks different?
I guess chef is, I don't know what the difference is, to be honest with you. I guess anybody could be a cook, but I guess a chef might be something a little more fancy.
Fancy. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So, for me, when somebody tells me they went to culinary school, it literally means nothing to me. It's like, I want to see what you eat. So when you watch some of these episodes too, and we're doing these judging portions too, and once again, I'm not some fancy food guy, right? I only can speak about food to what I like. So all the stuff that I'm saying is very biased. But one of the problems that I saw with a lot of these home cooks, right, when they were coming in, is that my biggest advice to those people is something that I would do. Stick to what you know. Do what got you to the dance is what they say, right?
So none of them are professional chefs.
Some of them went to culinary school.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're all home cooks though. So they would, I was explaining to you with one of the contestants, right? Like when you look at how he cooks, it seems that he knows a lot of terminology, right? He knows a lot of different techniques and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But his food was some of the stuff that we really didn't like a lot, right? It's because he's somebody that it's a lot of people online that do this, right? When you first start cooking, you kind of get caught up in all the fancy shit. Right? You want to learn all these different varied techniques, but you don't really know like the foundation of cooking, which for me anyways, it's like certain techniques and then flavor is like the most important part, right? Know how to cook the food and know your seasonings. So they kind of skip that part first, and they want to impress people by showing people that they've done this high elevated food. When we eat food at home, do we give a fuck about elevated food? What do we say? Does it taste good or does it taste bad? That's all we really care about. That's all most people care about when they do food. So when they're in this competition, they're doing this, like, I'm doing this coddled egg, I'm doing all this other stuff. It's like, well,
coddled egg. I was like, what is coddled egg?
It's like an egg in a ramekin that's usually with cream, right? And I've had that.
Still didn't understand.
I've literally had that once in my life at a French restaurant, right? And so my thing is like, how often do you make a coddled egg? Would you do this on the show in a 30-minute time frame? What is wrong about making a dish utilizing these leftovers and doing something a little more common that we're going to enjoy eating? And so a lot of the times when I eat people's food, they get caught up in the hype of, trying to impress people with food rather than just making food taste good.
The ones that look really good are the ones that seem like they knew
like
what
they make
the menu
this,
was.
It's like they've made this before. You could tell when somebody brings out a dish that they go, oh, I know what this is supposed to taste like. So when you try to go too fancy or too, I guess I wouldn't say too creative, but you go outside of your box, you better make sure that you can execute it really well.
Yeah, there's some people there that are like, I've never made this before, but I'm going to do it here. I'm like, why would you take that chance? You don't even know like how it's going to taste like.
Well, yeah, that's why when we were on the show, I mean, you heard me say that advice, like when I ate that raw poached egg. I've never made a poached egg before.
That was so gross.
I was like, why would you make it?
It looked gross, yeah.
I was like, why would you make it? I mean, they made other great stuff. Obviously, from the first critiques, the next round, all these home cooks and chefs, they did a really great job. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you have a culinary team behind you that helps you develop certain things. Maybe their advice would be good. Make stuff that you know really well.
It seems like you really enjoyed that show.
Oh, it was the best experience, hands down. What I liked about that show, number one, shout out to like Magical Elves. They were the production house that did the whole thing, right? And also shout out to Netflix. Super professional, very fun. Made sure that we were taken care of and made sure that the show came out great based on, our talents. So they didn't really, stifle us in that type of way. They used our improv skills and they allow us to develop this chemistry that allowed that show to happen really well. The cool thing about Magical Elves too, I think a majority of the higher ups are all females.
That's awesome.
It felt so. I mean, this is just my opinion, but when I usually work with women, like they have a very good way of like being a boss, but also showing this warmth at the same time. Like they can balance that out so well.
You guys just clicked.
Yeah, we all clicked. Jackie was super funny. Rosemary. So just to go back to Rosemary, Rosemary did this one part that had me dying on the show. So when I was saying that she's like an expert in her cuisine, traditional stuff that you would see that, people who went to culinary school, French food, English food or whatever, like you know, those fancy dishes like, I don't know, beef bourguignon, beef Wellington, like those type of things,
Sure.
right? Casseroles, cassoulet, whatever. When it came to Asian food, she didn't really know much. It's not in her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Right. And she's not afraid to say, like, I've never had this stuff, which is really cool. I, on the other hand, almost exclusively eat Asian food.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a portion where they were making bibimbap, and then she could not pronounce bibimbap, and I was crying, laughing so hard.
How does she say?
Bietenbach.
Bietenbach.
And she said it with the most confidence. She goes, what is this? A Bietenbach? A Bietenbach?
She's so funny.
She's so funny.
I feel like I thought you came in there as like to be the funny guy, but I feel like overall, like you're funny too, but she's just hilarious. I cracked up so much in this one episode, and I won't say it, but it was just like, she was just so natural. I was like, this is a fun show.
Yeah, super fun, dude. And it's because our cast chemistry is really good.
I hope you guys have another season coming up.
I really do too. Like it's very few and far between where sometimes I get to look at the things that I do and I say, wow, this is really good. You know, obviously, like, you know, critics might disagree. People might be critical of it. But at the end of the day, when I look at stuff and I say, and I'm smiling, or I'm like, oh, this is very entertaining.
Yeah.
I that's what I got from this show.
I personally like the fact that every time you came back from the show, you had a good time.
Yeah.
Because
I never complained. There was nothing to complain about.
No, you didn't complain. You're just like, they do this stuff for me. They do that stuff for me. And I'm like, why are you gaining weight? Because they got so much good food.
You know what the funny thing is? So if you guys ever get into entertainment, right, and you book a show, or you go on shows, you perform or do whatever, people will ask you, what do you want on your rider, right?
What's rider?
So it's like snacks, drinks. Like, what do you want to make your comfortable?
I thought the room was called rider.
No.
Like your
so
room.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you want on your rider, right? So it could be like, you know, drinks, snacks. I don't know. Some people, you know, I need a massage person or whatever there, right?
Oh, really?
Like, I'm a very fucking simple person. You could ask anybody that has ever booked me for any fucking event. They get shocked at what I ask for. They go, oh, hey, what do you want on your rider? I didn't even know what a rider was, right? And they're like, oh, what do you need from us? Like, snacks or food? Like, well, we'll get it for you. I was like, cool. So I wrote to the person. I was like, I just need like 3 bottles of water and beef jerky. And they wrote, what? They're like laughing. They're like, no, seriously, like, what do you want? I'm like, just some water and beef jerky. That's all I need. They thought I was fucking around, but that's really all I need. I'm not much of a diva. Like, I just need water. You guys are going to give me lunch. What more do I need?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you know, if they ask you again, what would you ask for?
Same thing, just water and beef jerky.
Really? I thought you would ask for carbonated water.
Oh yeah, I'll upgrade it. I was like, can I get some fizzy water this time? And beef jerky. That's what I would ask for.
No, you get the Korean barbecue pork jerky.
Oh yeah, I want this specific thing. But I heard like a lot of people ask for specifics that I don't really need it.
I remember someone was asking, I forget who it was, but somebody was like super picky where they wanted like specific M&Ms.
Oh yeah, who was that? There's a few artists, but I know certain artists that ask for like Fiji water. They need a box of like green juice, and I'm like,
dude, wow, that's awesome. Can you take it home?
Yeah, you could take whatever home. I bought you a bunch of snacks all the time.
Yeah, you should ask for
because
green
they would always
juice.
because I only ask for water and beef jerky.
Can you ask for green juice and
go
bring it
buy
home?
it? We're not poor. Like, what do you need? I don't need that stuff.
I mean, hey, free is free, right?
It's green.
I'm just saying, if there's any leftovers, you should just bring it over, okay?
I did. How many times? Because they would always, in the morning, they would give me a tray of fruits and veggies, and I would just always bring that home.
And I really enjoyed that.
I'm like, oh, cool. So that's what I'll be snacking on.
Do you remember on our first, not our first, but when it was like maybe our second or third time seeing each other, we went to a friend's shabu shabu opening, and it was basically like, what is it? Like a soft opening or pre-opening?
So this is before she and I actually started dating, right? And she left this watch that is a Cartier watch that she left at my place, and it's gone now. I don't know where the fuck it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But my friend Sophia opened up a shabu spot out in Koreatown, and it was a soft opening, but she wanted people to try it out. And her shabu spot was good, right? Just the location wasn't really popping at the time. It is now, but timing is almost everything when it comes to like timing and location for food. And so we weren't dating at the time. There's actually a photo of her on my Instagram.
I know. Okay, so I didn't go with David, by the way. I went with another friend to go and try it out.
It was actually Ed.
It was Ed, yeah. And then David was there. I was like, oh, I don't know if you gave me that watch then.
I did give you the watch.
Oh, but anyway, I sat down next to Ed, and then David sat next to me. And I don't know what happened. We were eating and everything.
We started making out.
You wish. But it was over, and it was free food. But I see a hella leftover that was untouched. And I'm asking myself, this is fresh veggies. And I asked Sophia, hey, where's this all gonna go? And she said, the trash can. I'm like, that is such a waste. Can I take them? And she said, go for it. So I got saran wrap and they started piling the fresh vegetables. And this guy...
By the way, when she says piling the fresh vegetables and you see her do this, this is not a correct proportion. It was like she went shopping at like fucking H Mart.
Oh yeah. Exactly. That's how much leftover there was untouched. And by the way, this is when I wasn't getting enough money too, but I was on my way to get into the entertainment. Actually, I was in the entertainment, but
she was working at a company called Full Screen.
Yeah. And I was a freelancer, so I wasn't getting much money. So I'm like, hey, free vegetables, why not? So I'm stacking it up like a tower. And this guy comes around and asks me what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm taking this to go. And they're like, you're taking free food to go?
This podcast is brought to you by Bright Cellars. Are you a wine skeptic or an occasional wine drinker like me? Well, either or, you're going to love Bright Cellars. Bright Cellars is a wine subscription service that helps you find wines you love while making them more accessible. Listen, most of us aren't wine experts, but we enjoy drinking it. Well, Bright Cellars makes it easy for you to explore different types of wines based on your preferences with just a 30-second quiz, and they will pair you with 6 unique personalized wines. And if you are a wine critic, you'll love this too. So far, I've tried 3 bottles that they sent, and I love all 3. For me, I don't want someone to tell me what a good bottle of wine is based on what they like. I have to drink it, so I want it based on what I like. What you drink don't make me piss, so give me something I want to drink. Oh, and also, if you don't like what you got in the first place, Bright Cellars will work with you to include a replacement bottle in your next box, so no worries. For Genius Brain listeners only, we are giving you 50% off your first 6 bottle orders from Bright Cellars by going to brightcellars.com/brain. That's Bright Cellars, CELLARS.com/brain. You can take their 7-question quiz to get your wine matches and receive 50% off your 6 bottle order today.
Yes, David.
Well, it was so because this
and he fell in love with me.
No, shut the fuck up. No. I did not fall in love with you.
Yeah, you did.
Relax.
What was that pose?
First of all, fall in love is a very extreme term that you're using right now.
He went, his eyes sparked.
No,
he's like, I gotta take a photo of this strange lady.
Let me tell you how it really happened, right? So I came in smooth as fuck, right, with this coat on, and right when I walked in the door, this breeze hit, and that coat fluttered. I saw this breezy next to me.
It was 80 degrees.
And I was
coat?
Yo, what's up, breezy? What, you taking these vegetables home? What, you trying to take me home with that salad too? Ha. That's what happened.
Who do you think you are? Hell no.
That's what happened.
So he took a photo of me, and he wrote something on the hashtag, though. He wrote, my future wife.
And boom, look what happened. Manifest what you want, my friends. So all I
had to do was basically take free leftovers to go, and you would be falling.
Here's the thing about her.
David would fall in love with me.
Here's the thing about that. I just found it really funny because she wasn't even invited as a guest. She was like just a +1. Mm-hmm. And then you just see this girl at the end of the meal just ransack the whole kitchen. And I'm like, yo,
I'm helping her.
This girl has no shame whatsoever.
Shame? I was helping her. Less junk in her trash bin. Then
I think most people, though, would be like, oh, I'm a guest. I'm just going to eat and then go about my way. But you just approached one of my friends and were like, I'm going to take all your food.
All the food that was going to go into the trash bin.
I know.
Why?
It's such the best
waste.
Leftovers ever.
I saved her food. I helped her.
You know what the funny thing is? Like, this is a precursor to something that happened later on that was a hot disaster. So when I see somebody take food like that, my assumption is that this person knows how to cook really well. Right?
Wait, really?
Yes.
You thought of that when I was taking those leftovers?
The first time that she ever cooked for me, right? And this is
You
the
would
funny.
not let go. This is why I never let it go.
It's not that you wouldn't let it go.
And then because you're talking about this till this day.
Because you wouldn't let it go. That's why it was so funny. So when somebody says this, listen to me. When somebody says this, they go, "Hey, I'm gonna make you dinner." What does "make you dinner" mean? By the way, it usually means that you're going to cook the food. The only thing that she cooked was this rice that was terrible, the mushiest rice ever, and then she just had a bunch of like panchan and side dishes that she got from the supermarket. So I was very like, she said she was gonna make me dinner. And so she just had this pre-made food. I was like, well, at least the rice will be dope. She puts this rice into this bowl, right? That shit looks like glue because she put so much water into it. And the funny thing, this is the part that made me laugh the hardest, right? So I'm fat as fuck at this point. I'm 260 pounds, 70 pounds, whatever. This food is in front of me, right? And she's seen me eat before. Like, I eat a lot of food. She puts it for, I take one bite and I'm like, man, I'm full.
I was
and I'm like,
so
oh,
hurt.
I'm full. I can't. And she's like, what? What do you mean you're full? You only took one bite. And she was like, what? You don't like my food? And I was like, well, the rice is kind of mushy. And her response is a little irritating. And also the funniest thing a person could say. She knows in her mind the rice is bad. She knows it. You know what you said to me? You go, well, that's how my grandma makes it.
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't bad.
Your grandma
ate that.
Your grandma does not make bad rice like that. Don't put that on your grandma.
All I know is that, well, I can't say my mom because she never made rice for me.
All you want to say was like, yeah, I kind of messed up on the rice.
No, because I didn't think it was messed up. If I thought it was messed up, why would I give it to you?
You think that was good rice?
Hey, it wasn't until you nagged about my rice that I was so sensitive. Okay, here's the thing. Here. Okay, so let me tell you. It's not about that. But you know how you criticize about my cooking, right? So David has lost his taste bud during this COVID time. And when he was cooking, like, getting like maybe 50% back of his taste bud, he cooked something and then we were eating it. And I said, it's a little bit slightly too salty. And then he was like, what are you talking about? That's why you have rice with it. But later on, he finds out, okay, maybe it is a little bit too salty. And he started, I was able to tell that you were losing your confidence of like how your food should taste like because he couldn't taste it. And it's also because I said something.
But
so
I wasn't.
Sad.
But hold on a second.
Can I finish my story?
Go ahead.
Because I'm butting in, please.
The terrible rice cooker. Please continue.
That said, if...
You don't even know your point. You just wanted to trash me. That's why. You had no
That's
point.
it.
She literally just brought that up to trash me. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. I made salty food. Go ahead. My food is so salty.
Let me
Go ahead.
So here's the thing. When I laugh, I can't talk because I'm too busy laughing. So David stopped making me laugh.
Oh my God.
So since he criticized my food.
Such a crime.
Hey, move your slippers. God. So ever since he criticized my food, I am so ashamed of making any food for him because I don't want to hear him nor see him not like my food.
Hey.
So I make my food, but I don't want to give it to him. But he wants to try it. I'm like, please don't try it because if you don't like it, then you're going to hurt my feeling. But he's like, I still want to try it. And so he tries it. It doesn't taste good. And
Did you do a line of coke
again.
before you came in here? What is going on? You sound like Eminem on Rap God right now. I want to come and what are you saying right now?
I want to say
Take
everything.
a breath before you speak. And so when I come in here,
This is the exact reason why I can't because you will make me laugh and I can't finish my story. Because you will make me laugh.
Oh shit!
And I can't finish my story and you keep butting in. This is why I can't finish my story because you keep butting in. Oh, I'm so tired.
So,
that said,
all I said was that the rice was mushy. That's it.
And I will forever remember that, David. So.
And you knew it was mushy. You knew it was. I didn't say it was terrible.
Okay, I knew it was mushy, but I didn't think it was not edible. And I think that's the problem.
I think the problem was that you fed it to me thinking that it was okay.
And also.
You said you were going to make me dinner.
I said I was going to give you dinner. I don't know. You know, either way, Recently I've been cooking, but I don't want to share my
She has
food
gotten
with
so much better.
David because he will criticize. And
It's
when
not-
I make something, let me finish.
Oh, you okay?
You see why I got a rap? Because you won't let me finish.
Go ahead.
You make me laugh and my voice goes high.
Continue.
So-
Continue.
And so when I do make something and he really likes it, he's like, this is the best thing you ever made and it's the only thing I will eat. And I'm like, so what about the past other food that I've made that you said it was good? And he forgets
Okay, let me
about
tell
it.
you the few things that she's made that I know that
It's
taste
okay,
really good.
David. You just don't eat my food.
What are you saying right now? I eat your food all the time.
Okay, fine.
So during the pandemic is during the time that Mariel wanted to try cooking.
I
Right?
cooked before too when I was living alone.
Yes, you did, but your food was not very good.
You said it was good, like the ribs I made.
Oh, that's different because you did the that's when you first got the Instapot.
What do you mean that's different? Oh, Instant Pot's not cooking? Is that why?
It's cooking, right?
What's the difference?
But here's the thing.
What's the difference?
The difference is like cooking and following instructions are two different things, right? Because now, like the more that you try cooking, the more that you're using the stove, you're trying all these seasonings out, you start gaining a palate for stuff that you personally like, and then you start to understanding flavors.
Man,
So when you were first cooking, right?
you would not like my food that I made in Taiwan.
Oh, I saw photos of it. It looked terrible. And
It's
so
very healthy.
So when you were first cooking food, you wouldn't do stuff with like a discerning palate. You would just make food to what, first of all,
Okay, here's the thing. I like to eat my go-to food is chopped up cucumbers,
Can I
tomatoes,
finish?
corn.
Can I finish,
And then
huh?
drizzle of
And you always
miso dressing.
So
I love it. Go
there
ahead.
was a couple of things that when you first start cooking, right? Is that when you first started to cook, the funniest thing would be that in my personal opinion, she was not a very good cook, right? I say was. She's getting a lot better now.
Am I a great cook?
Let's slow down a bit. Slow down with the word great. So the problem with her food was that even though she knows that she doesn't really cook that much or that often, she would look at a recipe and goes, I'm gonna do it my way. And I'm like, do it your way. You've never made this dish before. Like,
I hate following the instructions.
do it the way the person asked first, and then you see what you like or dislike, right? And then you can make those adjustments. For somebody who doesn't cook often, it's good for you to find a foundation and a basis for what you can work off of. And so you would make these things and you would take out very important ingredients that will make the dish good, and then you would eat it.
Like what? When was that?
Her banana bread. The first one. She served me a brick. And the flavor was fine.
What
And let me
happened?
tell you something. I got a lot better because back in the day, because of the rice situation, I said we could still eat it. And this woman would not let me eat the banana bread.
Yeah, because you didn't like it. Why would
Like the next day I woke up and it was in the garbage. I'm like, I was still eating that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Okay, I'll give you an example. So recently, recently I put something on the wall. I, put the screws on to hang the whatever.
Oh my God, this
thing
shelf.
is. Oh yeah, the shelf. That's what it was. It was a floating shelf, and I put screws on and put it on there. The screws didn't go all the way in because I think there were studs or something. Or I wasn't strong enough to put it all the way in. Either way, I put it up, and he looks at it. He goes, "Oh, you did a very good job," and looks at it closely, and he's like, "I게 뭐야? What is this?" And
I did not say that.
what did you say then?
Huh?
Oh, he's like,
I was all positive.
You didn't put it in. You were positive. Okay, let's take that back. You were all positive. His words were all positive, which was great. But his action was, let me undo this and fix it for you right in front of your face. Here's the thing. If you said everything positive, fix it while I'm not around so I know that I didn't screw it up. So now I know because he fixed it
Can
right
I-
in front of my
I should-
face that whatever he said out of his mouth was a lie.
Hold on a second. Let me say this real quick. If I
Was
showed you a
a
photo of how
lie.
she screwed this in, you guys would have cracked the fuck up.
Then why did you say I did well?
Because
you lied.
you did do a good job. You placed it in the
lied.
right place, right? It was very level. It's just
He just
you
doesn't
cho-
give a full compliment. It's
you
like,
just-
oh, you did well, but let me fix it for you.
okay.
Ciao.
Let me tell you guys.
That is not
if
the
I take
right
a
way of
photo
doing
of
it.
this, you guys will
Okay,
die.
guys out there, if
Like
you're
this
going to give
nail,
a compliment to a lady,
She legit
do
screwed
it
in.
the right way. If you're going to compliment it and you're
What do
going
you
to
want?
fix it,
What do you want?
do it while the woman is not around.
Okay, this is the funny thing. This is how much she doesn't know about herself.
Nani.
Watch what would happen if she went away, right? And she came back and she saw the shelf and these new screws that were in. She would have stopped and been like, hey, did you fix this thing? You know, you would have done that. You would be like, did you?
First of all,
hold on. You would be like this. Did you fix what I did yesterday? I thought you said it was perfect. So you didn't you lied. You lied to me. You lied. How accurate am I right now?
This podcast is brought to you by Hawthorne. How many of you out there care about your self-care? If you don't, you should, because smelling, looking, and feeling your best is where Hawthorne comes in. I know for a lot of us out there, when it comes to lotions and deodorants and face washes, you might not know where to start. Well, screw all that. Get stuff custom tailored to match you perfectly. All you got to do is take a fun quiz by Hawthorne to get that customized self-care bundle made just for you. It is the easiest thing that I've ever done, and you are going to be surprised at how accurate these products are to match your hair, skin, body, whatever that it is. And this stuff, by the way, normally takes a lot of trial and error and wasting a lot of money. Well, you don't need to do that with Hawthorne. The face lotion that I got, perfect. It's not oily, but it moisturizes my skin because I had that mixed skin problem. The deodorant, I love it. And don't even get me started about how much I love the shampoo and conditioner that I got, because my hair needs the moisturization without drying it out. Good skin and hair and smells come easy with Hawthorne. And if you're lonely, it's probably because your skin is ashy and you stink. So let Hawthorne hook you up, you stink face. Do what I did. Take Hawthorne's quiz today and get started on your personalized self-care routine by going to hawthorne.co and promo code BRAIN to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co. Promo code BRAIN. Hawthorne.co. Promo code BRAIN.
No, because I told him, but I wouldn't have even recognized the nails, because why would I look at the nails again? It's not like I look at it and be like, oh yeah,
My
those
dear,
nails,
your nails,
I did it well.
Let me tell you something. Those nails were sticking out so far.
Oh,
And then she
come
placed our
on.
mailbox. She goes, perfect, and walks away. I'm like, it's in the right everything. I just had to, put in different screws into the wall.
I just do everything yourself, man.
So how she approaches things is so funny. Mariel is a creative, right? So when it comes to rules and stuff, she always likes to bend these rules. So she gets very frustrated when she does DIY projects because these DIY projects have very specific instructions.
Here's the one thing.
And then she goes,
I can't measure shit.
It's not even that you can't measure shit. This is what you do. You slightly measure it and you go, good enough. And then you move on. I'm like, no. These building things are very specific measurements and you go, good enough. And so she made this awesome coffee table, by the way, right?
It took a while.
It took a while, right? But when she did it, she approached it with her good enough mentality, right? And so when she had this table, when I say screws are sticking out, she made a death trap. Like she didn't use the right. You want to hear something really funny though?
What?
So when I first saw you making it, right? I saw the screws that you were going to use for the table. I actually replaced the screws with shorter ones, and then you replaced the ones I replaced with the longer ones again.
What do you mean?
So
how did I replace it?
Because you recognized that it wasn't the screws that you had originally, so you replaced the screws that I replaced of yours with the wrong ones. And so when I came back, I was like, she replaced the screws that I.
Wait, how did I replace it though? Because it was in a container. So
you had your original ones laid out the night before. And then I was looking at it, and also Becky was looking at it, and we're like, those are way too long. So
no, Becky wasn't there. Becky
Chaggy,
said afterwards.
So this is what Becky and I talked about. So because we were looking at it, this is before you even did it. You had the stuff out, and you were already assembled a table, and then all you had to do was add the screws. And me and Becky were like, I was like, do you think those are a little too long? And she goes, yeah, we'll just replace it with some shorter ones. You somehow saw the ones we replaced, trying to help, and you were like, these aren't the ones I was using, and then you used the wrong screws. And then I saw the screws stick out. I was like,
wait, that doesn't make sense, because I went back and returned that to get a shorter one.
No. That was after you found out the wrong ones.
Yeah.
So before that,
You already had shorter ones?
we had shorter ones and I replaced it and then you threw those away to use the longer ones again.
I didn't throw them away.
Well, you did something with it. So I was trying to help you without telling you. So I was like, cool, I'm going to replace each other. And then I saw the screws. I was like, oh, she undid my help.
Yeah. Well, you know,
And then-
people,
and when I
you
came
learn.
back-
You learn,
Dude.
you learn through your mistakes, right?
She gets so frustrated when it comes to doing things that doesn't work out the way that she wants. Like this table pissed her off. And then when she was asking me these questions, like when you ask a question to me, I'm going to answer it. I'll do it in the nicest way possible. I didn't say anything mean.
You've learned a lot from that.
She goes, I hate this. I was like, it's not that bad. We're just going to shave off the screws. She goes, we're gonna.
Okay, first of all,
I was going to get a jigsaw and then just and just cut.
get a jigsaw and cut down how many 16 screws?
Yeah, it's fast. But then she was like, "No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take these." She bought these clear plastic boxes that you could clearly see the screws through to place it over. And I'm like, "We could just cut it off." You're like, "You hate it," and then she was mad at me because the project didn't turn out well.
No, I didn't hate you, but honestly, cutting the screws was just like, that's bizarre.
No, that's not bizarre. You people do that.
I know, but it was like, that's too much work for that. So what we did is that I just unscrewed it and put a shorter one. Bing, bada beam, bada boom, 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 boom.
So when we were
Bada
dating,
bing.
there was this place that we decided to do pottery, right? And this is an example of how Mariel, just when she's fixated on something and
I
it doesn't
know.
turn out the way that she wants. I actually got pissed at her because we were doing this pottery thing and it was supposed to be a fun day. I actually recorded that day and it was supposed to be a vlog, but I was so pissed I just trashed the whole thing because we're doing this thing. She's very competitive too, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm making my bowl. My bowl looks dope. I'm like, it's all smooth and perfect. And she looks over at what I'm doing and I could see her visibly getting angry. And I'm like, did I do something? But she was getting mad because hers wasn't looking the way it was supposed to. And I was like, hey, it's okay. We're just here to have fun and play with the clay. She goes, no, everybody's done moving on. And she's still there like Ghost, just still making this pot. And she was pissed in a bad mood. And I was like, you ruined the day. Like, I just wanted to make some pottery. Why did you have to do this?
Well, great, because we never ended up picking our pottery.
Well, they shut down.
Yeah, they shut down. It wasn't meant to be.
I know. I missed my pot. My pot was dope.
It was.
Do you have any New Year's goals this year? Like, what are your goals for this year that you want to accomplish? And people feel a little weird about New Year's goals. And I think like what people are saying is like, I don't like to do New Year's goals because I don't like to put a time limit on what I'm doing.
To be honest, at this time with everything, can we have a goal?
Yeah, it doesn't deal with like
I
personal
haven't really
growth.
thought of it. What about you then? Let me hear yours.
I always do New Year's reflections every year to see what I want to do.
Yeah, and you don't tell me what they are.
Because
too.
it's my personal goals.
So here, then you ask me in public.
So how come you didn't answer?
Well, I didn't think about it. That's why I'm asking you.
Be nicer to my fiance. That's a good one. Put that in the bucket.
Thank you. That's for you too.
That's for you. That's for you. So I always do goals, right? And these New Year's goals, by the way, it doesn't mean that I would like to achieve it this year, but if it doesn't happen, I don't beat myself up about it because I'll just pick it up and then transfer it over next year. And then I'll just do it
What
until...
did you achieve this year? That was your resolution.
Kickboxing. Get better at it.
That was this year?
That was this year. Like, and this is why we sparred a lot and then we did a lot of physical stuff. So
what else?
I don't know. I wrote it down, but one of the goals that I didn't accomplish this year was learn a third language. So that's going to transfer over to this year.
What language?
I think I'm going to finish up
Spanish?
either Spanish or Japanese. I have to figure that out. I'm just in between those two. Spanish is more useful for me right now, but Japanese is just already like kind of
Who
there.
are you going to practice with?
Huh? With everybody, fool. Porque no se la vi. Yeah.
What the freak?
Yeah, that's French.
What does that mean?
The porque means it's a type of it's a swine, it's a pig.
What?
And then we have also to like with these goals too. Because it always transfers over because I had a goal of losing weight. That was like a 20-year goal. But it happened eventually.
Yeah.
And I think like the important thing is that when you do these New Year's goals, you don't have to beat yourself up if you don't accomplish it because it just means that you at least move forward towards something, right? Because if I gave up on that one goal where I said I was going to get healthier and it didn't happen that year and I just tossed it away, it would have never happened. So
Yeah.
it'll just transfer over. I think it's good to set these goals because it allows you to move towards something.
Yeah.
So when people say I don't believe in New Year's goals, it's like, well, it's not really saying that, in my personal opinion, in ways that you're going to 100% achieve it, but it's going to give you a target to go forward, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that my goal this year was to have a children's book, but pandemic has definitely took a different route for me to do that, so I had to put a pause on it.
why?
My body wasn't doing well, so basically when we started working from home, just like the environment situation, like I think it really took a toll on my body, and so I couldn't use my arms well, and you gotta draw for that, and so that the times where I'm not working, I had to rest my arms, and so that now I'm doing much better, so I'm trying to get back onto it, but it did take like 6 months.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate, but like you said, I'm not beating myself out of it, So I'll put that for next year.
So a few of my goals this year, I do want to complete one solo album for music.
What?
Yeah, so with Z. So I want to do that with Z. I want to really focus. I've never ever actually focused on music ever in my life.
Like new songs or the songs that you guys already created?
No, like new songs. So I've never been able to really sit down and do music, right? That's something I did a collab album with my buddy Paul.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. Now I want to do my own thing with my own sound and my own vibe, and that's been one of those goals that I've had for a while. I just never been able to focus on it, because music was never a priority, and when it became work, it stressed me out. Because singing is just something I just do for fun.
Sure.
Like I'm always just singing around doing whatever.
Yeah.
But the moment I started trying to work on something, it started stressing me out.
Yeah.
And it took the joy out of something that I do for recreation.
Yeah.
I can balance that with comedy and acting and everything else, and auditioning and like for example the Netflix show or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to music, it's a little different. Also, too, what I found out about myself is that I don't really love music as much as other musicians do. So what I'm like, musicians who love music, because I'm around musicians, they love music.
Day and night, it's just music.
Music all the time, in the car, in the house, wherever. They're always playing music. And they just need it. Like it sets their mood, their tone, or whatever. You don't really see me do that much.
You just have sparks of moments of like getting really into it and then coming out, and then getting really into it and then coming out.
And so like music has never been something I've ever, like I appreciate a lot, but it's not something I've ever really been able to live in and then kind of explore it. So this next year I do want to do an album, 5 tracks. That's it. Not full 10, just 5. So a short EP, like an extended playlist.
That's cool.
And then wrap that up this year. And so I could knock that out on the bucket list. So there's a lot of things that I have these like bucket list check marks that I do. So once I knock it off, I usually don't go backwards and try to do it again because it doesn't interest me. Like making my own film, check. Getting like a series. That's not the whatever. Check.
That's cool.
Doing stand-up comedy. Check. So there's a lot of things that I've done that I've already checked off. Obviously, stand-up, it's not completely checked off because I might want to go ahead and try bigger venues, but it's not like I haven't done big venues before. It's just it hasn't really interested me enough because stand-up is hard. So that takes a lot of time and effort being on the road. Obviously, because of pandemic, it doesn't really matter. But I could develop that along the way. I'm always writing stand-up 24/7. But music is one of those things that I really want to go ahead and do this year.
You're so talented. You have a lot of talent. You could write, you could sing, play music, you can act, you could improv, you can cook, you can make people hate you.
That's a special talent of mine.
That's a special talent. But hate you, but love you at the same time. That's a skill.
I think it's like, I don't know if it's like talent per se. But I do think I think it's more of, I have a very obsessive personality. So
you do have something where if you get hooked into it, you would go to like, you would be up all night studying it for like at least 3 weeks to understand what you're doing.
Like even like bikes.
Yeah.
Before I even purchased my bike, it was like 2 months of just me researching how a bike works.
Yeah, I mean that's good though.
It helps me understand it a lot more. It makes me more. It actually has to do more with my anxiety. So I don't want to make these purchases knowing that I could have done something better with it, and it fucks up my anxiety a lot. I start to freak out. It's like, oh, I wasted money here. I shouldn't have bought that. I shouldn't have done this. So
That's interesting.
So I try to be knowledgeable about stuff before I go into it so I don't regret it.
I think that's good. I'm the exact opposite. I just get something and I roll with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's better though, because that anxiety stuff sucks. There's certain things I don't do that for. Like if I have business partners and I know my role and their role is to know something that I don't, I trust them to deal with it. You know, I'm not going to sit there and be like, okay, well, I need to learn what they do.
Oh, that's so funny. So when it comes to work, well, I guess because I'm in that profession where I have to know what I'm doing. So I do all my research, but outside of that, I don't care. I'm like, I'll just buy a ticket to Bali and then let's see where it goes. Unless, well, usually I would have like, do I have a local friend there? I do. Okay, I'll just go. I'll just wing it. But if I'm there with a group of friends where they want to do stuff, then I have to plan things out.
You know, the funny thing is too, is like with me and just to go back to like the whole music thing when I think about it, a lot of the times when I did these covers was, number one, is because I wanted to do and enjoy something. But my motivation for stuff, and I talked about this on the podcast before, was always to prove somebody wrong, right?
Prove somebody
wrong or show somebody I could do better than what you can do, right? So like even when I was doing these covers, it was to say like, look, I'm a comedian. I don't really do music, but I bet you I could still do music better than you, you know? Which is
Who are you trying to prove?
Nobody. It's just like this imaginary enemy that I have, you know? So I don't
you
really
got a lot of anger.
I have a lot of anger.
Yeah.
Like I don't really do that anymore, but that's like I would do these covers and I'm like, oh, these people get millions of views doing this stuff. I sing better than these people, or I can, you know, or
does that make you entertained?
I don't know if it's entertaining, but it's like I don't do it anymore. But before it was like motivation for me.
It drives you to do something.
Yeah, because it's like this person barely understands music. I could tell by the way they sing. I could tell by this and this and that. And I'm like, I could do better. So I would always like do these renditions of these covers that were so different than everybody else's, right? So when I did like Honeymoon Avenue, that shit got, you know, whatever, 3-4 million spins. And I was like, see, I'm not a musician and I could do a cover better than most people.
So why were you like that before, and what makes you not?
There's no end
like
goal
that
to it. Like there's no end goal to it. There's no joy to this. Like after you do that, what next? What's the point of this? You should have just created it because you enjoyed it, and you would have enjoyed the process better. Like you have this chip on your shoulder and this imaginary enemy that's not there. Like it's a terrible way for you to strive towards a goal. So I don't really do that anymore. But so it's like and you know, for everybody else too, you know, there are a lot of success stories where people have a chip on their shoulder and they use that as motivation. Yeah. And I've done that before. And honestly, like probably a majority of my success is because of that. But there wasn't a happiness at the end of it, because after you defeat this imaginary enemy, you're just left there by yourself. Yeah. It's like, what next? I have to find somebody else to hate now? Like what kind of way of living is that? Yeah. Yeah. You know?
No, I think it is a good way to motivate yourself to, you know, reach your goal, but definitely shouldn't be your ultimate goal.
Yeah. Singing too is something that's super hard. Like, I don't think people, well, because we have stuff like autotune and Melodyne, you know, when you're off key, people can make you sound good. And I think sometimes a lot of people confuse great singing and great vocalists with these people who tune their voice. And you can always hear it in a live performance, people who can sing and people who can't.
Do you want to perform live after your album's released?
No, I don't have a yearning to perform live. Maybe. I mean, I performed live a lot when I first started doing music. And that was fun. I don't really care to do that as much anymore. But, you know, that's where you get to really see how great of an artist some people are. Because the performance aspect of music is still there too. You know, when you're a performer and specifically vocally, that's why I love like following all these like vocal Instagram pages, because you get to see how talented people are who aren't major artists. And these people are great singers. Like they understand music really well. And so a lot of times people would ask like, yo, how do I sing? There's so many people out there, and you could even attest to this. And I was trying to get you to understand this, like even with some of your friends who I think are really great singers. And I'm like, yeah, they can sing. They're on key, you know, but there's something missing about their voice, whether it's like a soul.
Like you're born with it?
Like a character. Like great singers have, I think in my personal opinion, great technique, and they also have character in their voice. Something unique. Something
that they're born with, like, or can they develop it?
Well, people also forget about tone too when they sing a lot. Like here, let me give you a great example. Like Bart's not tone deaf, and Bart actually doesn't have a terrible voice when he sings. But Bart doesn't know how to use his voice. He doesn't know his range, and he doesn't know how to control his tone, and he also doesn't know how to control the power in his voice. So you could have like a decent voice, but it doesn't mean that you know how to sing, right? So when people hear Bart's voice, like, oh, Bart can kind of sing. It's like kind of, but he can't sing, in my personal opinion, right? And he knows this too. But Bart thinks he's a lot worse than he actually is, and he's not, right? If he did vocal lessons, Bart could be pretty decent. It's just Bart sings like how he works out. Like it's very brash and harsh, and it's not just him. It's a lot of people who want to sing. So they see these people who are idols who have these voices, right? And they try to imitate what they do when they don't have their vocal range nor the talent yet, right? And that's stuff that you can work towards. So let me give you an example. So give me a song.
Berg Midnight. Back at one.
Why am I forgetting the first lyrics to Back at One?
It's undeniable.
Oh, it's undeniable that we should be together, right? Versus somebody else. So when you hear that song, right? A lot of people try to impress people with their vocals, but they have to understand when it comes to music, and this is what I've learned from a lot of people in recording in the booth now, it's music also has a story, right? How it starts. There's crescendos to music. You can't just go blast 100% throughout the whole song. So sometimes when people sing these songs, they're trying so hard to sing or impress somebody or put too much strength into their vocals, they're not paying attention to the nuance and the tone to when you sing a song like this. So for example, you could be in key when you sing a song, but it doesn't mean that it sounds good, right? It's undeniable that we should be together, right? But if I could be in the same key, but I don't understand tone and nuance and how I want to sing the song, it's undeniable that we should be together. Still in key. Doesn't sound good though. You're blasting somebody with your vocals. And that's how a lot of people sing. They don't understand how to record on a mic. It's different when you record a song. It's different than when you perform. And so they go, oh, I'm in key, but your tone is off.
How do you create that soul or, you know what I mean? Like when I hear, like some of the covers, when you hear it, there's like, oh, they sing, it's a very pleasant voice versus like, I feel like I'm about to cry.
I think that's just all emotion when somebody sings, right? Like you have to be connected to the music, and there's also talent. Right, there's that one song that we kept on listening to. It was, "You took my heart and gave it a home." That song makes me tear up when I listen to it sometimes, even through the aching parts. So I mean, when she sings it, it sounds like she's crying. It makes you want to cry.
Her voice is so unique.
Once again, if I sing that song, "You took my heart and gave it a home," like my voice is a little shaky right now, but. If I didn't, like in the way that you sing that as well, there are certain points that you should hold out a note. There's certain times that you should do runs. Some people are too gratuitous with their runs where they can't even do it well.
How do you know this? Did you take music lessons?
Well, I took choir, but then also recording a lot and then listening to other like musicians that gave me vocal lessons. And it's just, these are the important things. So sometimes I saw a friend of mine on Facebook the other day, right? She has a decent voice and she's doing this thing where she's singing to camera on Facebook every day. And people are like, "Oh, your voice is amazing." And I'm listening to it like, no, your voice isn't. Like you don't know how to use your voice. And it's kind of hard to listen to, you know, but friends are being nice. They know that she's not that great, right? But they're feeding her this idea that her voice is amazing. And she's also somebody that has a decent voice. It's like Bart. It's a decent voice, but she doesn't know what she's doing with her voice. So she'll start off a song like Amazing Grace, whatever, right? So let's say we did that gospel song, right? Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. It's a very plain way to sing it. But she'll start off, Amazing Grace. It's like you're not, be careful about how you place these runs. It's just too in your face. The song just started, right? Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. You could do something like that, right? And these runs are very basic. But you know, how she would start off, Amazing Grace. It's like, yo, we just started the song. Where's this going to end?
How do you do that? That's so cool. I wish, like, you know, when I watch someone like Brian McKnight, when he's just so calmly without any effort. It's so effortless, and he's just like talking, but that talking has tones and
he's very, very talented though. There are people who are extremely talented that they were born with an amazing voice, and they're also technically really good.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, I had to figure out where my voice lies. I'm not a true tenor. I'm not a true baritone. So I have this very weird voice where it stays in the middle. So I worked on my falsetto so I could hit these voices like tenors.
How did you know that?
Just trying to sing and getting vocal lessons was hard for me. I have a very weird space where my voice lies.
Well, people love your voice.
Yeah, and even right now, I'm still trying to find my sound in my voice, right? So it's still a difficult process for me. So if anybody out there wants, I mean, I think vocal lessons are great for people. Like you should take a vocal lesson, but you have to understand that there's like when you sing, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, there's like you said, there's a reason why when you hear some people sing, you're like, oh, that's a good voice, but how come I don't feel it?
Yeah.
It's like when the cooking show. Yeah, I guess like the technique is right, but how come the food doesn't taste good to me? Why is this food something that I don't remember?
Yeah.
And that's what it is with people who sing and like your vocal talents, like how you develop music and how you sing into the mic.
I really get envious with people when they have such talent. It's like, because I feel like, okay, so like, for example, there's a stereotype of like Koreans can sing, Filipinos can dance and sing.
Can you get some your water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
And so it's true. I mean, I think on the basic level, I think a lot of Koreans can sing. Yeah. You know? And I get really envious when they are like, they could all go to 노래방 and sing. Like, I hate singing. Like, freaking hate it. So like when people ask me to sing and put me on the spotlight, I honestly want to punch their face unless I'm drunk.
But then like karaoke isn't for people to sing well though.
It doesn't matter. Like having that. So like some people, you want
to go ahead.
It's interesting. Like when I see the same mic that everyone else has, and then there are people who have the mic, it's like a toothpick for them. It's such a light thing, right? For me, I see it as like a boulder. I'm like, I can't.
Well, you're not trying to perform. Though. Like we're just having fun. Like
that's not the point. That's not the point. Is that I'm not trying to perform or anything. It's just I hate it. I hate it. Like I don't like my voice to begin with. So when I see other people can sing, I'm like, how do you just let your voice free like that? Because when I have that mic
Tagi,
and I'm trying to sing,
have you seen Vince sing karaoke?
No, but I stress out. Like he's having fun on his own.
Yeah.
Vince is having fun. So it's fun to watch him. Myself, I am stressing out. I hate it.
But what I'm saying is like you shouldn't be stressed out.
That's just how it that's what it is.
You sing at the house all the time.
Yeah, because well, I do when no one's around.
Yeah, but saying if you just take that same fun that you're having there, it's the same thing when you do karaoke.
I can't.
Like whenever I sing karaoke, like the reason why I don't like doing it is because people expect me to do something amazing. When really I just want to sing a song that I can't sing.
I only like it when I'm drunk. Like I only enjoy karaoke when I'm drunk.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I haven't gone to karaoke for so long. I don't know. I haven't gone for so long that I don't know anymore.
Mine is, it's usually, I like doing the song because people always sing along together. It's My Boo, Usher, just because everybody knows it. So I like to pick songs that everybody can sing, you know, because I hate being put on the spot when you're doing karaoke.
Yeah, I mean, the good singers always get put on the spot. I like to do ones that are like, you could jump around and dance around. Like, mine's Korean. It's DJ Duck, Run to You.
Okay.
I run to you, woo! And then people just jump around. It's super fun. I like those kind of songs. But then, yeah, you gotta have a little alcohol in me.
We should do a singing lesson right now.
No. See, again, my armpits are sweaty. I'm not liking this. My palms are sweaty. I hate it.
Yes, I remember, boy, as after we kissed, I can only think about your lips. Yes, I remember, boy. The moment I knew you were the one I wanted to spend my life with, even before.
You know that the only songs that I would sing out in public is 트로트, right?
Do that then.
No, it's okay.
What
the frick?
That's the one that you always sing.
Yes, it's 장윤정 짝사랑.
Yeah.
But either way, I look forward to your album then next year.
I hope so too. You don't have any goals this year?
I do. I told you.
What?
I didn't get to do my grandma's publish.
Oh, to make the children's book.
Yeah. But I don't know how that's going to work next year. We'll see. This whole work from home situation, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Well,
I think it makes it really hard because just like you with your music, you know how you go in and out?
Mhm.
That's how I am with my art too. Like I can't just sit there and just start doing it. Like it really comes in and out. Like when you were away during COVID time, that's when I was just like boom with my art and I just kept going. But then I can't control that. So I think when I'm stressed out, it's really hard to
do you think I stress you out?
No, that's not what I meant.
That's exactly what you just said right now.
Work from home environment is really stressful to me.
What's your favorite Korean song of all time?
Of all time? Oh, I don't. 没有欸. Do I have one, David? Are you going to sing it for me? Because I ain't going to sing it for you.
Oh my God. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast.
I told you to stop trying. Why do you keep trying?
I just want you to try. I just want you to try.
I told you to stop it.
I just want you to let loose.
Pay me $1,000. I still wouldn't do it for you.
$1,001.
No.
$1,002.
No.
Just let loose, dude. Just let loose.
I'm going to kill you, David. So, all right. So that's a wrap today, guys.
At first you didn't mean that much to me, no.
Shut up.
And now I know you're all I need.
Thank you guys for listening to
so brand new to
Genius Brain Podcast. You can find us on Spotify.
Now that I found.
And I don't know any other platforms that this is on, but it's also on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night and Happy New Year's.
Bye, everybody.